Addiction. It is a formidable enemy. It's relentless, ruthless, and merciless. But no matter how deep it has dug its claws into your life, no matter how powerful it seems, you can break free. You're not helpless. You're not defeated. The power to destroy addiction lives within you. The road will be long and the battle intense, but if you're willing to fight, you can win. You must fight like your life depends on it, because it does. These are the 10 strategies to crush addiction, to reclaim your life, and to rise stronger from the ashes of your own pain. It won't be easy, but nothing worthwhile ever is. Tip number 1, acknowledge the problem. The first step in any war is identifying the enemy. Addiction thrives in the shadows, feeding on your denial, your refusal to see it for what it is. It whispers lies, tells you you're in control when in reality, you're its prisoner. But here's the truth. Until you acknowledge it, you can't defeat it. This isn't about weakness. It's about courage. The moment you admit you have a problem is the moment you stop running and start fighting. Imagine a warrior facing a monstrous foe. Turning your back doesn't make the threat disappear. It only gives the monster more power. Standing your ground, facing the reality of your addiction, that's when the battle begins. Don't be ashamed. This is the first act of true strength, admitting you need to fight. Tip number 2, identify your triggers. Addiction isn't random. It strikes when you're most vulnerable, at moments when the world feels heavy or the pressure seems too much. But those moments, those triggers, they can be identified and they can be dismantled. Maybe it's stress that pushes you toward the bottle. Maybe loneliness drags you back to bad habits. Or perhaps it's specific people or places that pull you under. Whatever it is, you need to know exactly what sets you off. Ignoring your triggers is like walking blindfolded into enemy territory. Sooner or later, you're going to get ambushed. But when you identify those triggers, you can prepare, you can plan, and you can avoid them. It's not enough to fight addiction head-on. You need to outmaneuver it. Avoid the bars, cut off toxic friendships, stay clear of the places that bring you back to the dark. When you know your enemy's tactics, you can defend yourself. Awareness isn't just half the battle. It's your shield. Arm yourself with it, and you'll stand a better chance in the war. Tip number 3, replace the habit. Addiction leaves a void. If you try to quit without replacing the behavior, that emptiness will consume you. You can't simply stop an addiction. You have to replace it with something stronger, something that builds you up rather than breaks you down. Replace the poison with the antidote. If addiction has made you weak, then replace it with something that makes you powerful. Go to the gym, train your body, push your limits, learn a new skill, start a project that matters. You're not just removing a habit, you're rewriting your life. Imagine your life as a fortress under siege. Addiction has been chipping away at the walls for years. Now, you rebuild, brick by brick. Habit by habit, you become indestructible, and soon, addiction has no way back in. Tip number 4, seek support. Even the strongest warriors need backup. No one wins a war entirely alone. Addiction feeds on isolation. It convinces you that no one else understands your struggle, that you have to carry the weight by yourself. But that's a lie. There are people out there who have been where you are, who understand the struggle, and who want to help. Friends, family, mentors, these are your allies in this fight. Let them in. Addiction thrives in the dark, in silence, but it loses its power when you expose it to the light. The people who care about you want to help you fight, to hold you accountable, to pick you up when you stumble. Don't be afraid to reach out. Sometimes the greatest act of strength is admitting you can't do it alone. Together you're stronger, more resilient. Support doesn't just make the journey easier, it makes it possible. Tip number 5, develop a routine. Addiction thrives in chaos. When your life lacks structure, it's easy to fall into old patterns. You need order. You need discipline. A daily routine isn't just a way to stay organized. It's a shield against the pull of addiction. Every day, you need to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Wake up with purpose. Train your body. Sharpen your mind. Keep yourself busy with meaningful tasks, and you'll leave no room for addiction to creep back in. But more than that, routine builds momentum. Every day that you follow your plan, you strengthen the habits that will carry you through the toughest moments. You won't have to rely on willpower alone. Your discipline will be your guide. And when addiction tries to pull you off course, your routine will keep you grounded. Tip number 6, stay away from toxic environments. You wouldn't walk into a trap willingly, would you? Then don't put yourself in environments that are designed to drag you back into addiction. There are places, people, and situations that pull you into the darkness. You know what they are. Stay away from them. These places are battlegrounds where the odds are stacked against you. You can't defeat addiction if you keep walking back into enemy territory. Change your environment, and you change the game. If you're surrounded by people who encourage your addiction, cut them off. If the places you go tempt you back into old habits, stay away. A warrior doesn't fight in enemy territory without a plan. Don't allow the battlefield to be chosen for you. Choose where you'll fight, and stack the odds in your favor. It's not cowardice, it's strategy. Tip number 7, mindfulness and meditation. The mind is both your greatest ally and your most dangerous enemy in this fight. Addiction begins in the mind. It's there where the cravings are born, where the desire to give in festers. That's why mindfulness and meditation are critical. They teach you how to observe your thoughts without being controlled by them. When a craving hits, it feels overwhelming. It feels like it's everything. But mindfulness teaches you to step back, to see that craving for what it is, a temporary urge. You are not your cravings. You are the master of your mind, and through mindfulness, you learn to observe those urges without acting on them. Picture yourself in the midst of a storm. Meditation teaches you to stand still, to let the storm pass without being swept away. It gives you the strength to recognize that the craving is just a fleeting thought, one that loses power when you don't give in to it. The more you practice mindfulness, the more control you take back from addiction. And when you control your mind, you control the battle. Tip number 8, focus on long-term goals. Addiction blinds you with short-term gratification, making you forget the bigger picture. It convinces you that the temporary high is worth the long-term cost. But if you're going to defeat addiction, you need to keep your eyes on the future. You need to have long-term goals that you're striving toward, goals that remind you why you're fighting. Picture where you want to be 5 to 10 years from now. Healthy, strong, free from the chains of addiction. Every time you're tempted to give in, remind yourself of that future. Think about how much is at stake. Is it your health, your career, your family? These are the things worth fighting for. Every time you choose the addiction over your goals, you're delaying that future. But every time you resist, you're bringing yourself one step closer to it. Long-term vision isn't just motivation, it's your compass. It keeps you on track when the temptation tries to pull you off course. Tip number 9, celebrate small wins. In the fight against addiction, victory doesn't come in one grand moment. It's built brick by brick, step by step, win by win, and every small victory matters. The moment you resist a craving, the moment you choose discipline over indulgence, that's a win. Don't wait for the final battle to celebrate your success. Acknowledge the small wins along the way, because those small wins, they're what add up to the ultimate victory. Picture a warrior who fights battle after battle before winning the war. Each of those battles is important, and so are the small victories in your journey. Every time you resist, every time you choose strength, you're proving to yourself that you can do this. Celebrate those moments, because they're the foundation of your recovery. They remind you that you're winning, even on the days it feels like you're not. And each small win makes you stronger for the next fight. Tip number 10, stay consistent and trust the process. Addiction is relentless, but so are you. This isn't a battle you win overnight. It's a war of attrition, fought day after day, with unwavering consistency. You might not see results right away, and that's where most people falter. They expect immediate victory, immediate change. But success doesn't work like that. Recovery doesn't work like that. It's about showing up every day, fighting the urge, sticking to the plan, and trusting the process. every day you stay consistent. Every day you resist, you're chipping away at addiction and building something beautiful in its place. Trust the process. Even when it's hard, even when it feels like you're not making progress, keep going. Consistency is your greatest ally, and it's the key to ultimate victory. Stay strong, stay focused, trust the process. In the end, this is your fight. No one can fight it for you, but you have the strength to win. It's not going to be easy, but then again, nothing worth having ever is. You've already taken the first step by deciding to change. Now, it's time to commit to the battle. Your past doesn't define you, but the choices you make from this moment forward do. Rise up, fight back, and remember, it's your world. Build it.